We're going back to basics because food is expensive, and this is not your mother's chorizo and egg. When I talk about the pandemic, it's usually with an air of nostalgia. While the world around me was falling apart and things were closing down, I spent the majority of my time with my kids in my home, learning how to live a very simple life. I worked on self-care. We pulled our eldest boy out of school and homeschooled everybody. I officially had started the honestandunbiased.com blog, and that's when I'd say a lot of the experimenting happened with cooking. I'd like to mention that the year before the pandemic, we decided to have a year of no. During our year of no, we made sure to prioritize our family in a way we hadn't done before. We shut out every party except for 2 milestone events, and we really prioritized just saying yes to projects that were important to us. Needless to say, by the end of 2019, we were ready to go full on back into party mode. And because a very long time ago I was sick for a year, I am painfully aware of germs. With that being said, I was keeping a close eye on what was going on in Italy back at the tail end of 2019, but it didn't stop us. We opened our doors to family and friends in 2020, and by spring break, my kid was full-time at home e-learning. It was around this time where we started to consider other methods of teaching our kids because e-learning just didn't work for us. And while sometimes I look back at that time and think that was a crazy move, I also usually look back at it with lots of fondness. We had 3 kids at home. We homeschooled, we cooked together, my husband worked from home, and it was the first time that I'd ever bleached all of my hair and dyed it in all kinds of colors. But most importantly, it was a season where we reinforced the things that mattered most to us. Now, if you watch any of my other content, you might already know that there was a huge falling out after this season. And while I wish I could tell you everything is sunshine and rainbows now, it's not. This recipe came about during a time when I had very little control in my life. And while traditional chorizo cost too much in the Weight Watchers point system during the pandemic, cauliflower did not. I wish this recipe was more inspired and held some deep greatness in it. But the thing that it holds the most for me is a deep nostalgia. And while we can't go back to where we were, food can remind us of where we've been and how far we've come. So with that I say, I hope you're well fed and healing. So go find your riced cauliflower. We have meals to make.